at school.
Lego with Ego.
Tell me.
A hacker drained our business account. Nora from Travelers contacted her rapid response team, and even the Secret Service.
I got some news for you.
We got it.
All of it?
All of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Alright, you guys, UFC 303 is sick. It's going to be a banger, y'all, and I hope you guys tune in. Even though I'm going to be talking about the main event, the prelims are still a banger. I mean, we got Michelle Waterson on the card. She's versus Gillian Robertson. Andre Orlovsky, I feel like this dude has been fighting for the UFC since like 95, alright? This dude has been fighting for the UFC and fighting MMA for years. He's fighting Martin Boudet. We got Peyton Talbot versus Giannis Gamori. We got Ulcum Swanson versus Andre Fila on the card. We got some all kinds of variety on this fight card. Main event, main card coming at you. Starting off with the main card with the first fight, we got Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Venom Page. This is definitely should have been a main fight or a main event on another card. I mean, I would love to see this fight go more than 3 rounds, that's for sure. It should have been co-main event. I mean, come on. These guys are some of the best strikers in the UFC, in the welterweight division. I'm so looking forward to this fight, man. My man, Michael Venom Page, this dude has 22 wins, only 2 losses, all right? He's got 13 KOs and 13 first-round finishes. My man Ian Gary is 14-0. He's undefeated with 7 wins by KO, 1 submission, and 4 first-round finishes. So both of these guys are at the highest level, especially when it comes to the striking game. Now, is it smart for Ian Gary to go out there and just strike with MVP? I don't think so. Even though Ian Gary is a great striker, but I don't think he's on the same level as Michael Venom Page, especially when it comes to the distance management, the blitzing, just the speed, period. I think Michael Venom Page is really, really fast. He's very accurate and very versatile. But I think Ian Gary is a very intelligent fighter. His fight IQ is very, very high. He's definitely going to be prepared. Spent most of his time in Brazil getting ready for this card. So if I was him, I would be mixing it up. Not just striking, but obviously working my grappling, trying to lay and hang on this guy against the fence if I can, looking for my takedowns if it's there, just to try to somehow fatigue this guy. Now, what makes MVP so scary is that he's faced some of the best grapplers over at Bellator. They couldn't do it, right? He's got like a superpower, this guy, when it comes to defending off wrestlers. You've seen a lot of first-round finishes with MVP, and a lot of those were like face-crushing knees to the face. I feel like anytime this guy hits you anywhere, hits his opponents anywhere, he's damaging. I mean, he threw a leg kick on one dude and like literally tore the dude's patella tendon with a shin kick to the kneecap. Ridiculous. He crushed Cyborg's face. I've never seen a man have their face crushed in MMA before in my life until then. The guy is so dangerous everywhere, which makes this guy so special. I'm so looking forward to this fight. Who do I have on this fight? By the way, let me know in the comments down below when I get to these fighters, who you got in the comments. Let me know who you think's gonna win. But I'm definitely leaning towards my man Michael Venom Page for this fight. It's gonna be exciting. I do think if MVP touches Ian Gary on that chin, I think he's gonna be able to put him out. That's gonna be very difficult. That's going to be very, very difficult because Ian Gary is so intelligent when he goes out there and prepares for fights. But I am leaning towards my man, MVP. Let me know, guys. Let me know who you got. Next up, we got a good one for you guys. We got Myra Bruno Silva versus Macy Chasson. Great fight. Myra is predominantly a grappler. She's throwing them arm bars from her back. She's got 7 wins by submission and 7 first-round finishes. She submitted Holly Holmes with almost like a reverse rear naked choke. Her defense is fairly good too, especially when she's fighting a fighter like Holly Holmes, great striker. But Macy has got a 6-inch reach advantage. You got Myra with a 66-inch reach and Macy with a 72-inch reach. If I was Chase on, keep the fight standing, man. She's vicious with her striking. She's vicious with her ground and pound. You gotta watch out being in Myra's guard because she will throw up arm bars left and right and she'll take that arm home with you. I think Macy Chastain's got it. If she can keep the fight standing, she's got the reach advantage, very difficult to take down, picks her apart. I think she gets the dub. Next up, third fight on the card, we got Roma DeLizet versus my man with playing Green Eggs and Ham, Anthony Smith. I mean, that's all I gotta say. My man Anthony Smith won his last fight. Let's go via submission. My man Roman, very new in the UFC, only 3 fights. Anthony Smith, I'm pretty sure I'm older than him, but this dude has got like 50-something, 58 MMA fights altogether. Ridiculous, this guy, man. I do believe he's got like 19 KOs, 15 submission wins, and 21 first round wins, man. This dude is a stud. He's lost to some guys that you thought he was going to.
So glad I remembered Uber Eats has office supplies, but I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Oh, shoes on tight.
Nope.
Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
I was sitting in my front room watching TV, and all I heard 4 or 5 shots, bam, 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 about 4 or 5 times.
Somebody just killed my son for no reason.
In moments like these, we need to come together as a community and show love and support for one another.
Put the guns down. No more violence. You say, so said and said.
August 9th, 2023. It was 3 p.m. when 911 began receiving calls in the small city of Franklin, Virginia. Gunfire had erupted in the 300 block of Otter Street, a short dead end with some upkept and some rundown homes. Police would arrive on scene locating an unresponsive 10-year-old boy who'd been shot at one house.
Now you know your videos are switching?
Who'd been shot at another.
Dad,
While securing the crime
your
scene,
video keeps switching.
What?
Your videos keep switching without you even noticing?
7 minutes away. The 37-year-old would then be life-flighted to another hospital. The 10-year-old Lamar J. Holden would never wake up. Investigators would speak with witnesses at the scene who stated 4 people arrived at the home of an adult male. A woman inside the home yelled for the 5 children playing outside to get inside. An altercation broke out between her husband and the 4 people that pulled up. That's when one of them drew a gun and opened fire. 10-year-old Lamar J. Holden, a neighbor who'd been playing with the kids at the home, had ran inside with the rest of them. He was peeking out the blinds to see what was going on when he was shot in the head. His body fell limp against the front door. The woman opened the door, and Lamar J. collapsed on the front porch, unresponsive. One of the boy's relatives would pick his limp body up off the porch, running into his own home, to his own family, where EMS later found him. Witnesses would speak with investigators providing descriptions of the shooter, and officers would eventually identify the killer as 24-year-old Tashonda Drayton, who's also known as the rapper 23 Brazy. Warrants would go out for the big body 5'11", 250-pound female on charges of first-degree murder, attempted murder, malicious wounding, shooting into an occupied dwelling. We identify the killer as 24-year-old Tashonda Drayton, who's also known as the rapper 23 Brazy. Warrants would go out for the big body 5'11", 250-pound female on
Tashonda who?
first-degree murder, attempted murder,
Tashonda who?
wounding, shooting into an occupied dwelling, use of a firearm in the commission of a felony, threat to burn or damage a building, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and discharging a firearm in a public space. Come to find out, 23 Brazy was out on bail at the time of the shooting. Days later, U.S. Marshals would announce a $5,000 reward that was quickly raised to $10,000 for information leading to her capture. She was to be considered armed and dangerous with ties to the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. By now, her face was all over the news, social media, and YouTube. Her Instagram would be taken down, comments on her music videos would be turned off, and the hunt was on to locate the child killer. It would become even more disturbing as lyrics found in one of her videos would describe spraying kids with gunfire. 4 months after the murder, the U.S. Marshals would yet again raise the reward, this time offering $20,000 to anyone with information leading to 23 Brazy's capture. The Marshals would state she's known to identify as a male and goes by the name Berlin Montrell and the nickname Punny. Come to find out, Punny 2 Brazy was her original rap name, and she would change it after the death of a close friend. Back in April of 2020, officers responded to a shooting where they found 23-year-old Stephen White III dead at the scene. Over 40 shell casings would be recovered, and the following day when medical examiners conducted an autopsy, they stopped counting the bullet wounds because there were so many. Stephen White III was known as 3 Brazy, and his death would be the birth of Brazy Gang, 3 Worlds, and Punny's new name, 23 Brazy. Following his passing, 23 Brazy can be seen amongst family and friends showing love to 3, and her affiliation at this point is clear. With the $20,000 reward out, U.S. Marshals will now state she has ties up and down the East Coast, from New York to Atlanta, and it's likely her affiliation is what the Marshals were referring to. What would come as a surprise was she wasn't in a different state. In fact, she was only 20 miles from where 10-year-old Lamar J died, and 10 months after his death, she'd be captured.
A Franklin fugitive on the run for nearly a year is caught by U.S. Marshals in Southampton County.
I'm at Brookside Square Apartments, where Tashonda Drayton was taken into custody after a 10-month manhunt. One woman who asked that we conceal her identity had just stepped out her door with a cup of coffee and was met with dozens of U.S. Marshals.
It was scary. It was very, very scary.
She watched in disbelief as Drayton was escorted away from the building.
There's a lot of children out here. And then the fact that, that they have her here.
It's a moment Senior Inspector Robert Bowers with the U.S. Marshals Service has waited for since August.
And then Drayton came to the top of the stairs and said she was coming out, and she said she had her hands up. And at that point, I visibly was able to see that it was Drayton.
On Tuesday, U.S. Marshals found Drayton hiding in an...
Guess who forgot to reserve an Uber ride in advance? Not this routine queen. Yeah, that's just how she rolls. Long may she plan. To all routine queens, now you can reserve your Uber ride up to 90 days in advance.
Maxine, did you always want to be in this line of work? Always wanted to be famous. When I hit an apartment directly across from the best friend's home.
U.S. Marshals would announce that despite a $20,000 reward, they didn't receive any credible tips. They believe a few people knew of 23 Brazy's whereabouts, and that she stayed inside for months at a time without moving. Investigators spent countless hours surveilling the Brookside Square Apartments in Southampton as they learned that's where 23 Brazy's best friend lived. And on June 18, 2024, Marshals knocked on an apartment unit's door, to which a female came out. Shortly after, 23 Brazy surrendered. Come to find out, she'd been living with a woman who later admitted she was 23 Brazy's cousin. It's believed her family had assisted her in hiding early on in the investigation, and at this time, no charges against the family have been filed for hiding the alleged child killer. With her capture a sure sign of relief for the victim's family, this is only the beginning of a case that may take years to finish. 23 Brazy is facing life in prison, as Virginia was the first southern state to abolish the death
say Eli looks so good with
At
his
trial, the family will have to relive the nightmare
Who?
that took their 10-year-old boy.
Who?
And 23 Brazy will have to plead her case. It appears clear that he wasn't the intended target,
looks so good
as
with
she
his haircut.
fired at a man while striking.
Wait, let me see. What?
Why? You want to see the picture?
I want to see the picture.
And then, Wendy was like, "Oh my God, you cut his hair. He still looks so handsome." Talking about you. Come on, we cut your hair.
When he saw the fly, he freaked out. The man was eating it. While the man was watching this, he didn't
Oh, it's...
Whoever loses has to do whatever the top comment says.
Jay, I'm making a lot of Netflix logo, so drop a comment for what key you want to do next. Or not like
Taking his home. But any legal gun owner understands he or she is not only responsible for the gun, but every bullet inside of it that's
Oh, that's gonna be my number if I get to that be. That's gonna be my number in any
We'll
sport.
likely see no remorse from a judge or jury.
Look at my
The fact that
door.
she removed all comments on YouTube but not her videos shows she still wants the fame. She just doesn't want the criticism. But all that 10-year-old boy wanted was to play outside. We'll just have to wait and see how this case unfolds. I send my condolences to the victim's family and all of those affected by what happened. It's 1090J. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. Until next time.
This is without a doubt the craziest video I've ever filmed in my life.
Mix the Xanax with the lean, bitch, I'm the face of zombie land.
This is Sparta!
And can you be quiet?
Up, down.
Booty, 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 booty.
No, don't try going that around. Glad you get off, watch the fights, but don't complain about staying up late to watch the fights. Understood?
You said what? Can you repeat it? Can you repeat what you said? Dad. 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 Bro. Dad. Dad. Bro, I just wanted to get out of the bathroom. What did you say? What did you say a second ago?
Get off now, or we don't tell me about staying up late. Because there's a boxing fight today too.
What boxing fight is it?
Kill female.
There's two?
Huh?
It gets two.
So,
Can I play this until halftime? Huh?
what's happening? How much time is happening?
3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Go ahead.
I take you out.
It's time! Oh!
Dad, you gotta look at this. You gotta look at this.
I'm gonna see if he'll be my boyfriend.
Good day to you from the fight capital of the world.
I'm recording right now too. I recorded this, look. I caught that. Look, I heard of this dude.
Matter of hours, all the hype and anticipation in advance of UFC 303 gives way to the action live on paper.
I heard
Touchdown
of
or no? Touchdown or no?
First, a pleasure to welcome you inside T-Mobile.
Yeah, touchdown.
UFC.
Oh, wait, am I gonna make the kick?
UFC 303 prelims are presented by Bud Light. Closed captioning is available for tonight's telecast, and if you would like to watch the broadcast in Spanish. That option is available on ESPN Deportes. As always, appreciate you spending a part of your weekend with us. John Hanna, Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier, and guys, they all feel big. This one especially so.
Well, this is International Fight Week, so it's always big, but whenever you get Alex Pereira and you have him fighting a guy like Yuri Prochazka in the main event, we've got a wild thing coming for us.
We got an absolutely fantastic fight card. Look, guys, Conor McGregor was supposed to fight. He's not. They actually made the card better. Now the whole card is better, and you can feel it building all week. This will be a great night. I can't wait.
Main event is a light heavyweight championship rematch of a fight that took place last November. Alex Pereira, Yuri Prochazka, Act 2 tonight under the lights.
I can't wait to see this fight. What this man, Alex Pereira, has been able to do in a short period of time is nothing short of extraordinary. One of the most devastating kickboxers to ever compete in the sport. And now, a two-division UFC champion. And who could have possibly predicted this just a few short years ago? This man has unbelievable power and an intelligent, crafty style that's so difficult to deal with. Just one of the absolute best to ever do it.
Already, Joe, the fact that you're saying to ever do it already speaks volumes. But Yuri Prochazka is a guy that had that short path to a title himself. He did not fight long before he became the UFC champion. And what I want to point to is in the last fight, Yuri Prochazka was winning. He won the first round. He was winning the second round. There are a reason for him and his team to be confident as they go into this rematch. This guy is an absolute finisher and a guy that's held that belt before and intends to hold it again by the end of the night.
All right, so that's the tail on our main event later tonight here at UFC 303. But now with more on all of the shuffling to this card that led to this new look UFC 303, we say hello for the first time to Megan O'Leary. Megan.
Hey, thank you so much, Sean. Well, as you guys were just alluding to, this UFC 303 card has dealt with its fair share of shakeups. It all started with a canceled press conference and the fight between Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler falling into jeopardy. I actually spoke with UFC Chief Business Officer Hunter Campbell to find out how it all really went down. So let's rewind to earlier this month at UFC 302 in Newark, New Jersey. Campbell and UFC President Dana White were walking back from the post-fight press conference when they got a text from the Irishman saying, "I'm injured and I don't want to have a public presser until I know if I can actually compete." Campbell jumped on a flight. He spent 5 days in Ireland, and they actually flew out UFC physical therapist Heather Linden, who so many athletes rely upon to heal their injuries. But when it was clear that the Irishman would not be able to train nor compete, the UFC had to pivot, and they knew exactly who to call. Campbell had actually had dinner with the light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira in Brazil for UFC 301, and the champ told him, "Hey, I want to compete as often as possible because I feel so good at 305 pounds. So when they called Poatan, he was actually at a children's hospital in Australia, and he said, "Listen, I need some time to make this decision." Well, an hour later, he called back and he said, "Shama, I am in." Now, on the flip side of this, Yuri Prochazka had just left a 3-day fast in a very dark shed where he had no food and he had no water. And he called the UFC brass and he said, "Listen, I believe in the way. If this is the way, then this is the way." So obviously, so much credit goes to the two men who are on top of this marquee.
And what a luxury for the promotion, right, to have elite athletes like this. What's so fun?
Yuri was in a shed somewhere in the dark, not eating for 3 days. They called him over with a title fight. He's like, "Absolutely." Yuri Prochazka, ladies and gentlemen.
Your pay-per-view main card coming on 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Main card opener at welterweight. On paper, couldn't be a whole lot better. Michael Venom Page looking to bounty and Machado Gary from the ranks of the unbeaten. Also, no featured battle light heavyweight Roman Dolidze moving up on short notice. He will face the also stepping up contender Anthony Lionheart Smith. Co-main event should feature a lot of high-level mixed martial arts and some chaos. Brian Ortega draws the oncoming Diego Lopez in the main event. For undisputed UFC light heavyweight gold, Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka in their second act.
Huh? There's 45 seconds left.
Time to bring you live action at 303.
Huh?
Short list of top rookies in the UFC. Vinicius Oliveira was spectacular in his debut earlier this year. Now he's in position to make an even bigger statement against the credentialed. Aiming to use tonight's fight to springboard back into the bantamweight top 15. Ricky Simone will pull out all the stuff. He picks up with Brazilian talent, Vinicius Oliveira. A blue-collar veteran with wins over the likes of Rafael Sansao, Jack Shore, and Rob Dwalishvili. Simone has the tools to beat any 135-pound fighter in the world. Tonight's task is to get past rising star Oliveira, a graduate of the 7th season of Dana White's Contender Series, who picked up 2 bonus checks in his UFC debut back in March as he knocked out Bernardo Silva. Coming up next, Ricky Simone takes on Odysseus.
¡Quieta! No, stop. ¡Mátalo!
After 30 amateur fights and 22
No.
pro, Odysseus Oliveira finally made his way to the UFC back in March. He left with $100,000 in bonuses. Joe, it wasn't a perfect performance, but it was a perfect finisher. And it's really a knockout that I think is probably going to hold up in the knockout of the year conversation. Now they're spinning it forward with him, and he's got a huge challenge in Ricky Simone, who is a former UFC headlining actor.
Well, he certainly does, but he looks like a guy on the rise. You know, Ricky Simone has been in the UFC for so long, we forget that he's only 31 years old. But this guy, Oliveira, has something special. First of all, he's very aggressive, very wild. His striking is really intense, very unorthodox, but he's just got this feeling about him. He's a wild, crazy dude. I'm very excited to see his fight, especially with Ricky Simone, with Simone's wrestling and his overall veteran experience. This should be wild and a big test for Odysseus Oliveira.
You know what this fight means to Joe? Odysseus Oliveira and the evolution of the Contender Series. When you got guys on the Contender Series before, it would take time to build them. Then you got Chienji Kawhi on there. He was ready right now. Odysseus Oliveira reminded me of that the normalized hardest fighter in the Contender Series. He's a man with a long amateur career like Jack stated. He had a long pro career. So when he gets here, it's not just about fighting beginners and prospects. He can be in there with guys like Ricky Simone very early. Time and time again, he has that ability. I'm excited about what this kid's going to hold, John.
His mother recently lost her home in the floods in Rio Grande do Sul, but Odysseus has helped a lot financially and otherwise, and trying to make more money tonight. Alright, so here's the power wrestler, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, Ricky Simone, DC, all offense all the time. He makes his 13th UFC appearance here tonight, but he got to the UFC at 25, had that memorable win over Murad Wallace really back in 2018, but just in terms of the maturity and wisdom and experience,
Stop.
maturity and wisdom and experience, just feels